What's up, guys? It's Joe Bennett, Hypertrophy Coach in town, Boca, training with Dallas. We did some legs, quad focus today. I think this workout, more than anything, wasn't one where we're really, I'm getting into a whole lot of form or execution. I think Dallas had a pretty good game plan of what he wanted to do, so half of my benefit being here is to yell at Dallas and for someone else to go through a quad workout with you, because nothing's more sad than training your quads by yourself. But then again, just for that little bit of an extra push here and there. So we started with leg extensions, for lack of a better word. Some people like to call it kind of the warm-up pre-exhaust, whatever. I think we just did 2 or 3 total working sets here. And the last one we worked up into a drop set, in which case we did 2 or 3 drops. And honestly, both of us were pretty much pumped as hell after that point. Personally, my legs were kind of locking up and cramping up. I felt like my quads were going to rip off, so that's always a good sign. And then we went into front squats. I'm a huge fan of front squats. I think it's obviously for quad dominance. I think sometimes when people do back squats, they just get a little bit too general with why they're doing them. They just think they're squatting, where there's almost no other exercise that bodybuilders don't think about what body part they're using. And I think a back squat can tend to be, it's great for a power strength movement because it can divide up over a lot of muscle groups. Obviously, you can use your quads, your glutes, your hams, your lower back, where front squats are just so much more quad dominant. I think for a lot of bodybuilders, they can be their best friend because some bodybuilders can just get, huge ass or huge adductors, but have a hard time isolating their quads. So, and then just structurally, it's a movement Dallas sets on himself, and I would agree, just looking at it, that fits well with his structure, and just a little bit more of a comfortable quad movement for him than maybe a back squat. And the only thing, I don't know if we caught it, but the only cue I think I gave pretty much Dallas all day was, when you're going to front squat or you're going to back squat, your execution should obviously be a little different. Aside from the bar placement, we'll just change your center of mass, so it'll essentially force you to do it different. Otherwise, either the bar will fold you in half when you're doing a back squat, or the bar will fall off when doing a front squat. So one of the biggest things you should think about is, your torso position and everything is dependent on what your lower body does first. So just a real little cue I could see when Dallas was going the first couple sets, kind of start with his hips going back a little bit, and then would kind of find what I'd call the slot, where you could really just see he was keeping a good center mass with the bar midfoot, and his knees were traveling pretty far away from the bar, which is what you want. So the one little cue I gave him was just to start the motion by thinking about bending or breaking at his knees first, which would allow him to stay a little bit more upright and probably feel a little bit more comfortable, which after he tried it out said that it did. And so then we went and I did some baby weight that Dallas used for warm-up weight, and Dallas worked up to 5 plates. Which honestly, if you're watching the video, looked pretty easy. The people that looks easy to are the people I can guarantee have never front squatted heavy before. The thing I personally like about front squats, and kind of talked about this with Dallas, is they're not just great for quads. They kind of they build your soul, essentially. So they hurt everything when you're doing them. They hurt your torso, your bones, your internal organs, and like I said jokingly, they hurt your soul. So putting 500 pounds, across your clavicles, straight down on your torso is a pretty brutal exercise. And we talked about the benefit, obviously, for his quads, but also for metabolic output. That's like a cardio session in and of itself. So I think he banged out 6 or 7 or 8 reps there. Then from there, we were trying to find a hack squat solution. We ended up doing it's kind of I'm going to call it a V squat or a power squat or whatever you want to call it. In all honesty, we couldn't quite get super comfortable on it. So it was the good and the bad. Had a hard time getting the comfortable foot position with the path the machine took and the angle of the pad. But the good side of it too is it was hard. It was hard at very specific ranges of motion. So whether it was a super effective exercise that either of us will ever do again, I will say probably not. Did it suck and did it hurt our quads when we trained it? Yeah. So it's still, I think, accomplished the goal. Again, anyone that's ever really taken a set of leg extensions and front squats far, we kind of both talked about we were really done at that point in time. We could have just gone home. So did a couple extra working sets there, maybe 3 or 4 sets, keeping around 10 to 12 or so. And then we did some hamstrings, went to a single leg kneeling hamstring curl. Same thing, handful of working sets there. And then finished on a lying leg curl. So honestly, very good workout. If you guys follow Dallas, if it's not 100% clear, his training, he's training very frequent. He's training very similar to the Ronnie Coleman split, which obviously seemed to work pretty well. So he's training pretty much every body part twice in a week. So regardless of who you are, even with Ronnie Coleman being an example of probably one of the best recovering human beings on earth, you just can't have quite as much volume. So which I think I tend to like, and Dallas says he's liking as well too, where it allows you to be more intense within a few sets. So we always have for every exercise 1 or 2 sets, maybe 3 sets, where you can just kind of feel like you're going all out, and that's that. And you really don't need to go a whole lot past that if you're going to be training the muscle group essentially again, in 3 days and want to be recovered. So it's that's kind of split that he's on now. I think it's a great split, and it's obviously anyone that's seen his pictures working very well. So overall, it's a very good workout. It was quick, it was intense, and I think both of our legs are pretty F. So that was mission accomplished.